Hey, what it do, y'all? What it do? You're tuned in to Reality XM. Right back at y'all from the outermost. There's all this talk about divesting, and I don't mean to be digressing to speak on stuff like that in this session, but I just want to add more recollections or corrections, if you will. Well, here's the deal. I've said before in regards to divesting that, well, it's not what people think it is. Like, divesting means that you pull back from an investment. So a lot of things going on with the feminine, the lesser feminine, shows that she hasn't invested anything. So how can she say that she divested? See, the greater feminine makes sure that she has invested in a man. She has invested in that man. And that's something that a lot of typical females can't say. They can't say that they have invested anything in a man. So here's where I'm coming from with all this, okay? Well, as you see with the title, they have dynested, not divested. So let's go more into what I mean by this. They dynested. Well, because a lot of the lesser feminine are not trying to support a man. They just want to lay up. They want to lay up or lay on their backs for a man, but they don't want to have a man's back, you see? So a lot of them are quick to get in a man's world, get in a man's life, and nest within his home, just like what a stray cat does. Even though she belongs to the streets, a real woman doesn't belong to the streets. She may have came from the streets depending on her lifestyle, but she doesn't belong to the streets. A typical female actually belongs to the streets. Yet these the same ones out here talking about being divested. And no, I'm not speaking on a specific skin color of typical females that like to throw around the term divested because they want to be with men outside of their race. Actually, divesting is not a racial terminology. It's just that some have tried to make it a racial terminology. But it's like you can't divest unless you have invested. A lot of these gals think that just having a baby for a man is a investment. Not necessarily. But we're not going to talk about that in this particular podcast, okay? But yeah, a lot of them have just dynested. They've left the nest of a particular man. Dynested meaning taking down that dynasty, if you will. Literally taking the children with her. So that's in a nutshell what's going on. All these gals talking about they have divested. No, they have just dynested. That's all. You left the nest. You left the home of a man that had a home for you. Or you just didn't want to be part of a man's home. That doesn't sound like an investment to me. Not at all. But thanks a million, though, for stopping by.